So welcome back to another episode, and it seems like a long time ago now when it was E3 and Capcom had officially announced Resident Evil 7. And I remember my reaction, I was like, oh my god, it comes out just after my birthday, and I was so stoked for it, and I can't believe that time is now, and I've been playing it for 6 hours today, and I promise you I'm not going to show any spoilers, I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, I'm just going to talk about my early impressions playing the game and what I think about it. And some things may surprise you guys because I'm going to mention some stuff that I think for anybody who watched the channel for a while, they'll be like, really? So I remember they showed Resident Evil 7 and everybody was confused. I remember everybody saying, wow, this looks cool, but it doesn't look like Resident Evil. It doesn't look like the Resident Evil that I know. That's what people were saying everywhere. And I was like, yeah, it kind of seems a little bit different. I don't know what kind of approach they're taking. But I was like, I'm going to wait to see more about the official game. And then they released the demo, and I played that, and then I played it in VR, and then I played the extended demo and did all that stuff. I did the kitchen demo. I did all of it. And I gotta admit, none of that seemed like Resident Evil to me. It seemed like a cool PT demo with some kind of adventure elements, but it didn't seem like Resident Evil. There was some small moments when, they'd show Umbrella or something like that in a photograph. That's in the demo, but that's about it. I gotta say, this really is a return to Resident Evil. It really is. And it reminds me so much of the first game. In fact, some levels and some elements just feel like they're taken right out of the first game, which is a welcome thing. It is a return to survival horror in the sense that it's hard, it's tough, it's really tough, and it's all about item management. And that's the thing in the demo that I never saw was you never really got a weapon, you got an axe or whatever, but you never really felt like it was Resident Evil. You had weapons and you had, item management, nothing like that. So that's where it didn't seem like Resident Evil. Where in the official game, my god, it's just like the old games. You're backtracking, you're making room in your inventory, you're expanding your inventory, getting better weapons, combining herbs, all that kinds of stuff. Like, that is Resident Evil. The atmosphere is excellent. It really, really is excellent. It's a very unusual storyline, but it feels perfectly like Resident Evil. It fits in perfectly in the world, the universe, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. And it's in the other room right now. I'm stuck on a puzzle, like a classic Resident Evil puzzle. I'm like, where the fuck do I go? What the hell am I going to do at this point? I need an item. It doesn't really matter. Now, here's the bit that may surprise some of you guys. I am the biggest virtual reality VR fan there is. I've really fallen for this new technology. I love it. I have a PlayStation VR. I was so excited to play Resident Evil in VR. But guess what? I'm not playing it in VR. I'm playing it the regular way. Now, I know a lot of people were detracted saying, well, oh my god, this game is just being made for VR. Let me tell you one thing. It's not. VR is secondary. You were playing it normally, it feels perfect. It feels this was a way you were meant to play it. VR seems like an amazing add-on if you want to do that. It's an add-on, it's a side thing. I've been playing it normally all the way through, and I think I'm going to continue to play it that way. I did stop and I tested the VR to see how it was. It's pretty fucking intense. It's really, I won't say where I'm at in the game, but looking around, walking around the environments, I'm like, oh my god, it's intense. It's a little bit, there's a little bit of motion sickness. It's a little bit, shooting or doing anything like that in VR. It feels like, I personally enjoy playing it just regular, in the regular mode. But I think I will play, when I finish the game, I'll try it out in VR a little bit more to give it a bit more go. But VR works incredibly well. I just want to say that even for moving around aiming, you're doing it with your head, and you also have your gun there, so the aiming works incredibly well in VR. But what can I say? I went in with low expectations to this game. I went in expecting not to play a Resident Evil game. And let me say, here's my history with Resident Evil. I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't play 6 because everybody said it would ruin it for me. And I remember reading the reviews in 6, everybody's like, no, just stay away from 6. And I'm like, okay, I do own 6. And then one day I'm always like, yeah, I gotta play it. But I'm like, oh no, I've heard it's really bad. So how does 7 stack up to the rest of the series? Incredibly well. It works perfectly. I've been so happy to go out and read online. All the reviews are staggeringly high. So if you've been worried that it wasn't Resident Evil or you had to do it in VR, rest assured, don't have to worry about any of those things. It's Resident Evil and it plays exactly like Resident Evil in first-person perspective. And it works really, really well. Graphics are stunning. Really stunning. I've been blown away by the locations in this game, the lighting, the effects. Staggering, really staggering. They really immerse you into this world. And I was playing for 6 hours, and you know where I was? I wasn't in my living room. I was in that world, and it's so cool. Like, it really is Resident Evil that, you know, it's like you unlock this thing, and you do this thing, and you do this, and then it unlocks this whole other section, and you're like, it's really got that amazing adventure feeling, but at the same time, it's totally like Resident Evil that you have your weapons and all that. I said that in the beginning, but it's so true. Your item manipulation, you're just doing that all the time. You know, going to save spots and saying, oh, I don't think I need this item. I'll put it, you know, in a safe box. I'll come back for it. And then you're like, oh my God, no, wait, I need to go back and get that item. It's so much fun, and that's all I can say. And it's early impressions for me. I'm 6 hours in. Really a lot of fun. I'm having a great amount of fun. I can't wait to get back to it. Figure out where I'm stuck right now, how to get past that. But that's the whole element of fun, backtracking. You know, and that's the one thing I want to say. The demo was a small little section of a much bigger puzzle. I'll just say that. I won't say where it is. I don't want to ruin anything in any regard. I want people to go in like I went in, blind and, you know, a bit optimistic, and it's really paid off. And I'm so happy to be playing Resident Evil 7. It really is Resident Evil, and that's the main thing. It does live up to it, and there's been a lot of Resident Evil games to live up to. 2 is my favorite. 4 is my favorite. How does this one do? It's really good as well. Is it going to blow you away the first time like when you played 4? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to describe. It's just a different Resident Evil game. And I like the story. I've jumped. I've had some terrifying jump scares at the weirdest moments. Like when you're going down a level for the 50th time, and all of a sudden, boom, you hear something like, and there's nothing there, and you're like, you're just fucking with me now, aren't you? And that's classic Resident Evil. And so I am so happy. I really recommend it so far. But as again, you know, I'm 6 hours into it. But right now, if you've had any apprehensions, it's good. You'll have a good time. If you like survival horror, and it is survival horror right down. You know, this ain't an action game anymore. This isn't Resident Evil 5. This is survival horror. If you're going in with that in mind, you're gonna love it because you're gonna get it in full. So, anyways, guys, until next time.